I'm Angela Levine, and my daughter Noa Levine went through the tongue tie release here at Shadelands Pediatrics. We came in for a cleaning, and Dr. Lopez called me in at the end of the cleaning and said she noticed a few things that were interesting and needed a further conversation that I had not been aware of. So Noa had, first of all, it was during the summer, and she gets very tan, and she had a white line on her nose from wiping her nose a lot, which was an indicator for her having maybe an allergy, possibly. Dr. Lopez also noticed that she had really dark circles under her eyes, which, I mean, I have a little bit of, they're hereditary, and Dr. Lopez said, no, these are like from not sleeping well, like she's a child and these are too dark. She also noticed that Noa had a lot of plaque on her two front teeth. So the combination of these like symptoms, which I was not aware of because they didn't seem very acute or problematic, Dr. Lopez noticed them and then measured her, the space that her tongue she measured if her tongue can reach the top of her, the roof of her mouth, and it could not. So we've all heard of tongue ties. Babies have their tongue ties released. It's very noticeable if they're not latching when the babies are born. But if it's not that dramatic of a tongue tie, it also can cause a problem when the children are older. So net, we found out that Noa's tongue, even though the tie was kind of hidden and didn't stop her from doing most things, her tongue was not resting like on the roof of her mouth like it should. So that meant that her tongue had trained itself to lay down in her mouth, which meant that Noa was not closing her mouth when she was sleeping. She was not getting a good night's sleep. She was not sleeping at night in the way that she should have been. And we had no indication of this. She went to sleep on time every day. She woke up. Like we didn't notice anything wrong with her sleep. We did further talk about, some things that were going on at home, and she had just started kindergarten and first grade. Maybe it was first grade. And she was getting home after her full days, and she was melting down. She was so tired. She couldn't do anything after 3 p.m., really. So that was an indicator that, once we started looking back at some other indicators that we might have at home, that was one of them. So our experience was, trusting Dr. Lopez. I had never heard of this before. I'd never heard of this treatment before. There was very little online, but the way that she spoke about it, she's really an expert in this space. We went to a recommended therapist, and Noa had to exercise her tongue first for a number of weeks. It was not hard. It was a weekly visit. It was for just like 20 minutes. Most of the work is actually done at home. It's a release here in the office. Noa's very comfortable here, and the procedure she was pumped. She thought she was going to get ice cream for days, and she thought that she was going to have treats and get to stay home from school, but it was just very, very quick, essentially painless procedure for her. If you don't do the exercises, even though they seem simple, it's like touch your tip of your tongue to your mouth, or make like little, like, I don't even remember, like wings, or like all of the exercises that she worked on Noa with. They're simple, but if we didn't do them, she wouldn't have been as successful as she is now. And we came back, a few weeks later. Dr. Lopez is involved in all of this and checking on us and calling us. And I didn't even realize the change that had occurred until Dr. Lopez kind of pointed it out to us, and it was like how, like what's different. And the change was so huge for her, and it seems like they're not connected because it was a tongue tie, and like how did this surgery underneath her tongue like change her life? But my first grader got to sleep for a whole night for like the first time in her life. And she was able to come home from school and not melt down. And we were able to do homework and study and have healthy dinners and not have tears. And her, the physical symptoms went away. We still come here every 6 months. Her plaque is reduced. Her little nose flag is gone. Her black circles under her eyes are gone. But just knowing that she gets a full night's sleep and has been able to thrive in school since then, and it's all part of like this big pie, and there's so many aspects to to your kids, but this was definitely a game changer for Noah, and has brought her back to functioning as she should with a good night's sleep. And we couldn't be more thankful for Dr. Lopez for seeing these innocuous symptoms and putting it together, and then giving me the information and my husband the information in order to proceed with something that we never thought that we would have to do. But it's been great.